How's it going, guys, and welcome back to another video. And today I'll be doing a old versus new between my old Cebu Pacific Airbus A320neo. I made it back on 2020, and my new Cebu Pacific A320neo, the one that I made currently, the latest plane that I made. So yeah, before we start, I would like to say that my new version of Cebu Pacific A320neo is much better than the old version. But yeah, there are lots of difference between the old and the new one. And also, I would like to apologize for not posting some video because yeah, I have school and I'm kind of too busy on school, especially some requirements. So yeah, further ado, let's get started with these two aircraft. So let's go first on the front section of the aircraft. So as you can see the difference between these two aircraft. So the old version has a bad looking cockpit, which is not nice, and also big main landing gear, which is unrealistic. The new version has a realistic looking cockpit, and I'm really happy how it turns out on that cockpit because I nailed the cockpit and it's so realistic. The main landing gear has a realistic as well, which is I'm really happy with the cockpit because it's realistic. It's not even, like just color it black all the time, but yeah, I make it more realistic and I'm really happy how it turns out with that cockpit. So yeah, let's go move on. So moving on to the nose part of the aircraft, and you can see the difference between the old versus new. So let me take a closer look first on the old one. So here's the old one. As you can see, the old one has a bad looking cockpit and bad looking nose. It's not even realistic and accurate, and the nose is way too big and too weird to look, and the cockpit is bad looking. But moving on to the new version, as you can see, the cockpit is realistic and accurate, which I'm really happy about how it turns out with the nose and the cockpit, because the cockpit is accurate and realistic, which is same as the real plane. And yeah, I'm really happy how it turns out with the nose. So yeah. Moving on to the fuselage of the aircraft, as you can see the difference between the old and the new one. So let me start with the old first. So here's the old one. As you can see, it's not that smooth, and yeah, the cockpit is not even that accurate. The engine is good, but it doesn't have any pylons, and the back of the engine is not that good. And the fuselage is very rough, but I'm still happy with the Philippine Eagle that time. The shark hook has a detail and a beacon light. So let's go first, and so let's go to the left section. Moving on to the left section of the aircraft. As you can see, it's still rough, and you can see the Philippine Eagle is way different from the other side, the right side, and the engine is too tall. Engine is weird. The cockpit has been changed, which is the cockpit is slant. It's not even straight, and yeah, the nose is bad, and the APU section is too big. Moving on to the new version, as you can see, the new version has a lot of better and realistic looking, especially the cockpit and the nose, the front landing gear. It has a cargo doors, but the cargo doors are fading. The engine is way better than my old version, and the Philippine Eagle is way better and realistic. Also, the landing gear is way better as well. Also better stabilizers. Same as the left side, it's just the same as the right side. And yeah, as you can see, it is smooth. Oh, forgot to mention is, as you can see, there is a cutout part on this. The reason why I did this because when I make this aircraft, it's kinda short, which is looks like A319. So the reason I just cut it out and make it extend so that it will look like A320. So yeah, I'm still happy how it turns out with this aircraft. Moving on to the APU section of the aircraft. This one is the old one and this one is the new one. So as you can see, the old version has a bad APU section, which is too big compared to the new one. The new one has a realistic and accurate APU section, which is small, which is very accurate compared to the old one. The old one has a bigger APU section, which is not nice. So yeah. Moving on to the top part of the aircraft. So as you can see the difference between the old and the new one. The old one has a very rough top part of the aircraft compared to the new one. The new one has a smooth and clean top part. And the old one has a removed antennas. And the wings of the old one has a, this curve. It's not to be like that. It's not supposed to be like that compared to the new one. The new one has a realistic and detailed wings. Moving on to the underbelly of the aircraft. So as you can see the difference between the old and the new one. So let me start with the old first. So yeah, this is the old version. As you can see, the underbelly is not nice, except the Cebu Pacific title, which is kinda good. The main landing gear is bad, the front landing gear as well. The bottom of the engine is bad as well. And this one is kinda good. The tail of the eagle, or the bottom of the eagle, it's kinda good. And yeah, the underbelly is not even realistic. So yeah. So moving on to the new one, to the new version. As you can see, the underbelly of the new version is way better. You can see the main landing gear is better as well. And the front landing gear is better as well. The bottom of the engine is better. I also changed the, this thing or whatever it calls into a realistic shape, which is, I found it on Google. Especially you can see the bright yellow colors, and you can see the Cebu Pacific underbelly, under of the eagle, or bottom of the eagle, and which is very nice and very smooth. It kind of looks like a Gemini Jets. So yeah, that is it guys. Thank you guys for watching my video, and if you want to see more, just click subscribe. And if you don't want to miss some latest update, just click the notification bell to remind you a very new update. Thank you. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up and share this with your friend. That's always, stay safe and goodbye. Cebu Pak, awoo!